Welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of a Designer podcast. This is a weekly podcast where we talk about the latest in graphic design news from around the web. My name is Adam. I'm a designer from the San Francisco Bay Area. I specialize in visual, UI design with a little bit of illustration. I like to give companies character. And every week I'm joined by my co host, Terry. How's it going, Terry?
Hey, Adam. Thanks again. As Adam said, hey, my name is Harry. I'm a UX UI designer for the Bay Area, and I help bridge the gap between products and their end users. And Adam, I do have to say, I always love that tagline about giving companies characters. And every time I say that, I need to think of a tagline for myself, but I haven't came up with one yet. But anyways, let's get right to it. I just want to introduce you to Katherine Lu. She is a UX UI designer herself, and we are doing another portfolio review. So anyways, Katherine, um, her background is actually from for doing corporate, and she has a lot of experience in the corporate role, and then she transitioned over to actually UX UI, and she actually went through a boot camp, and we're gonna actually talk about her journey a little bit later, because I know a lot of career changers are like asking is like, okay, I'm done with the boot camp, now what? So what does this journey look like? And then also too, Catherine actually took that journey. So now her next journey is like she has 2 years underneath her belt now. Now it's kind of like, what's the next level for that and stuff. So I'm going to give it to Catherine. She can introduce herself a little bit. So Catherine, if you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. My name is Catherine. I am currently a UX UI designer at Taco Bell Design, working on the redesign of the website. So it's a really great project, surrounded by a lot of creative people who are all super nice, and it's really just incredible when I look back and see the effort and the experience that I've had from um, taking the leap into UX design from my past work experiences and corporate training, HR, and a lot of process management oriented jobs, and then being able to take that over and just gaining the confidence to switch into UX UI design. And much of it started off with me reaching out to Terry when I was first looking into courses, and just this whole UX career shift journey in general. And that started, I would say, last year in June or July. So it's really just been, or 2 years ago, actually, June and July. So it's really just been really fast, quick turnaround, and life changing.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay. Okay. We're just going to jump into Catherine's website and stuff. So anyway, here we go. So again, I always like to go to the about section. So can we go there, Adam?
Yep. Well, so first off, before we start, as soon as you go onto Catherine's site, this is what you'll see. And then, so if we go to the About section,
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have your bio here. It's one, two, three, four paragraphs. For me, again, this is just my own 2 cents. Definitely need to kind of cut that in half, because if somebody doesn't have a lot of time, maybe just imagine a recruiter or like a lead designer. They've already spent looking at like what 30 resumes in about what 3 hours, or longer, just say, and they're probably tired. And when they come to your page, it'd be like, oh, okay. So I know you have a lot of good stuff in there, but I would probably uh, condense it a little bit more, and really bring out more about your presentation skills, right?
Okay.
Because didn't you used to teach people about that, correct?
Yes, that is correct. I used to lead workshops on process flow and leadership in your area, like corporate training, that sort of realm.
Okay, why that is not on there? I don't see what you just told me. I I don't read that. Adam, do you see that in there, or maybe it's just me? Am I blind? That is
Uh,
possible. I could be
she
blind too.
she has it a little bit where
Yeah, a
under
little bit.
facilitating workshops during my pivot into this field. But I think Terry's right. I do feel like you would something about like you actually um, facilitating these workshops, teaching people about presentation skills, things like that is a pretty good ad.
Okay.
Um, but for me, for the about page, so I actually like it because if you go back to your homepage, you do have this kind of like little bio that you've made for yourself, right? And so you do give pretty much the main gist of who you are in a little paragraph, and then if they want to know more, then they have the about section. Um, although, yeah, I just think something about just having two buttons on your site and then having the about section. I don't know. But I do feel like, yeah, if it was maybe just a little bit shorter so that you can see that there's more, because if you're getting to just this my story and it looks like that's it, and then they'd have to scroll to see that there'd be like your contact information or other parts of it. So if you were to cut that down just by maybe like this much, maybe not get rid of this, but um, make just like have it cut down a little bit, so just so you can see that maybe there's my communities in there as well, like above the fold, then that'll help show that there's more than just the about page. Because if you just see the about, you just think it's going to be the bio, you just think that's it, and then you go, oh right, all right, here's the actual contact.
Hmm.
I mean, even with if you scroll down, I'm sorry, Adam, if you go
Back,
back
back to the, yep.
to yeah, and then scroll down and where you say, oh wait, scroll it right there, up, up, up,
Yeah,
up,
yeah,
up, up, up,
yeah.
up.
Oh, communities.
Okay, right there. Yes, yes, that can be actually on the nav bar because like of you put down in my spare time, you can find me engaged with these design and meetups. Like, okay, so what do you do for them? You know, as a person who wants to hire somebody on my team, so what do you do? So what do you do outside of work? You know, so what are your other skill sets that basically you can bring? And you can just do like take this part and just expand it more.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
think. I don't know, Adam. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think when you're talking about things that'll, get you to the next level, or, value adds that'll set you apart, I think showing that you're like, I don't know, well traveled, or showing just the other things that you do that got you here. From hearing a little bit about you, you have this kind of background, and all these other additional skills that you've done is going to help in the UX process. It's going to just make you more engaging, right? If it's just like, if it's you between an up and comer, and where you have these kind of people skills, and you have these additional, like, hey, I know how to lead a team because I could lead kind of this workshop. I've helped organize like conferences and stuff. I'm gonna be like, wow, I'm gonna want you on my team because you're gonna bring more stuff to the table, as opposed to just this UX UIer that's all they did, before. Um, so any way to incorporate that in like this about section, yeah, show here's your bio, and then here's your community, here's what you do in that community, talk a little bit about each one. You could break these up into like four different image links where you talk about each one individually, and then you could just get more about you.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely. I would definitely
thank
have
you.
to agree with Adam um, on that part because you know you're done with the boot camp, you've already, been in the mud, in the trenches, understand what UX UI is about, and just job wise, right? I mean, God, if you're working for Taco Bell, and then with your background, you definitely got to mold those two together as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And, and, and then, if Adam, can you go to Catherine's main page, her front page?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Can you scroll down just a little
Mm-hmm.
bit? Okay. Okay. So here it sounds like you are currently helping young women to grow their careers. Okay. It looks like these are all the projects that you helped, but what's the difference? Okay, so now for me, I'm getting kind of confused because like you have all of this information, right? But then again, when you go back to your about me
Mm-hmm.
and you scroll down, I'm wondering if that's the same thing. But you do have Hack for LA, and then but that's all you have. So so can you go back to the main page again? I'm sorry. And then if you scroll up, because you got the B-STEM project, you have motherhood design, you have LA, and then when you go underneath to design, if you, if you hit design, Adam. Okay, stop. Okay, okay. So it looks like you have Hack for LA here, and then you have it on the front, and then you have Rally, and you have Rally here, and house home, but that's not on the front page, and then you have your UX writing challenge. So for me it's a little confusing because you have projects here and then you have this projects here, like at the entry point. So basically I'm not sure, is this your portfolio here, or basically is like design, is that your portfolio? So maybe instead of saying design you can just say portfolio. I don't know, Adam. So what do you think?
Yeah, I do find it kind of a little weird just that you have, I mean, I get that you have this so you can easily go to each project, but as a somebody viewing your portfolio, they're not going to know what this is. If they're just like looking to hire somebody, they're like, oh, what's Hack for LA? I think this is a better way to display what you've done. I love these. And so I think this is more of an engaging way to do it, and then to go here because they're not going to remember. Oh yeah, what was house home again, and why is this a drop down? And yeah, I maybe just switch this to home and about. Um, I don't think you need the drop down, to be honest. And I do love this. This is what I'm talking about you showing other things that you can do besides, like these are at least programs or communities that you're actively engaging, and the idea of helping young women grow their careers is awesome. And you're showing it through these sites, and then it's great that you made them clickable so you could go and engage a little more. I would like it's as well as just a little bio underneath. It doesn't have to be that long, but just like, what do you do for them? What are you doing to help them? And then after if you want to include that or not, it'd be great to just do a different section where you say, all right, this is actually my work, because it doesn't delineate. Here you have this big O salmon colored block to delineate this from this, but then you just have this line that separates these two, and I think you just need something that'll say, hey, this is my portfolio section. Other than that, yeah, I do love how you set these guys up, like just the idea that you made them into their own separate kind of look and feel for each one that follows the look and feel of the app or the website. That's great. And just that you have like this kind of like visual stamp for each one. I do love that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So let's go into BSTEM project.
Yep.
Okay, so from this project, when I go here, I have no idea what you actually did from for them.
Yeah.
So if it, so like if you go back to her website, right? It just says currently helping young women grow their career by B-STEM project. That's all you put. And when I go to the website, it's like, what did she do? Did she do the whole thing? Did she just did the images? Did she? I have no idea, right? Same thing. If you go back to to her main page and hit motherhood design.
Hmm.
Same here. You know, as a viewer, it's like, okay, did Catherine design the whole thing, or did she just did the images, or did she come up, um, with a style guide? It's like, there we go. Okay, so now it looks like there's you in here, right? So now, you know, how can you let us know um, of what you did too? Just like Adam was saying, just to have a little blurb in there.
Yeah, I mean, even like it looks like you did you're doing the UX UI for the motherhood dot design, but even if you didn't do it for like the BSTEM projects, just that you're involved in the project, you don't necessarily have to say that you did the design work for them, or even if you did or you didn't. I mean, if you did, that's great too, but if you didn't, you could even just say how you were involved in, what's how what the community, what is BSTEM about, like how did you get involved with them, why do you find your passion in it, like why are you involved in these programs. Just those little things can help, just to help learn more about you.
Yeah, very, very true. Okay, let's go to Hack for LA. Okay, so scroll down. Okay, so you have you have an image, you have the problem, you have the goal, you have the role. Hey, that rhymes, goal and role. Project scale, tools used. Okay, primary stakeholder. Okay, so you did the one, two, three, four. Okay, keep going. You did the context research. Okay, keep going. Keep going. Let's see. Okay, keep going. Okay, got some images there. Let's see. So you define the problem. Okay, keep going. You got the wireframes. Okay. Okay, if you can just scroll back up, Adam. Yeah, go to the one, two, three, four. Okay. So when you put like one, two, three, four, I was kind of expecting, okay, where's the one? Where's the two? Right? To help identify what was the research, what was the define, what was the ideate, and what was the test. Because here it looks like it's a wizard just for all the information below, unless it's just of an infograph, like how you thought. But that's how the way I took it. How about you, Adam?
Yeah, I could definitely see that being breaking it down that way. If you're going to kind of talk about it, then you could key code them with this key code that you have started there. um yeah, no, I think that makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All the image, it's great. They are big enough. So if I'm on a phone, I'm able to see it and stuff. So I think that is great. I just think you probably just need to organize it. Um, how the way, if that one, two, three, four, if you want to keep it like that. How
Mhm.
about you, Adam? Any more thoughts?
My only issue is that it stops at the wireframes, and so it's to me, I get the sense that it's not as complete. I get that it's an ongoing project and that maybe you don't have like, this is all that you have at this stage. Um, and so at this point, I would say maybe move this to one of your later projects. Don't lead with this because,
Mm-hmm.
if this is the first project that I see for you,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be like, okay, well, you know, you could only do wireframes. You can only do up to wireframes. Like, where's the rest of it, right? Rally does a better job from what I saw, but so maybe lead with that, or um, or the house home. But for this one, you could probably drop this down to like the third one, just so we can get like, if this is
So
the first impression of what people are gonna see, they're gonna be like, okay, well, where's the rest of it? Go ahead. Sorry, you're gonna say something.
Oh, no, 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 no. Yeah, yeah. You're absolutely right.
Although I also love the navigation. So right, keep them flowing, keep them on to the next thing. Although one thing I did notice as well, which you didn't do here, maybe it was rally. Sorry, I'm gonna jump ahead real quick.
No, go ahead.
Um, Here, yeah. So you end with a CTA, right? You end with a call to action. You end with a feel free to contact me, right? Um, this probably jumps. Does this jump to your contact? Yeah. That's great, right? Because you want them to go somewhere. Either you want them to keep going along the flow, or you want them to contact you. Your main thing is to contact you, I would imagine, right? Because that's the main next step. This should be always on. This should be on every page, and I think I saw that you only did that there. And you have links to other sites, but you don't have the link to your contact. And so if I would maybe end it with, hey, um, to find out if I could explain more, if contact me, and then it jumps to your contact page, or, you know, um, you know, just some sort of call to action to jump you back um, to that contact page. I would recommend to do that on every single page that you have.
Cool. Okay, so let's go to rally.
Right. See, I always love these. Like here, you
Yeah,
see, like,
these are
you know,
nice.
you're showing that you can throw in a little UI skills if you need to. And then not only that, but you're worrying about how it's presented, right? It's not just you're not just putting stuff in screens, but you're creating a whole layout with them as well. So that's great. Although I kind of feel like since these are floating, I would kind of remove the shadows underneath. That's just like a nitpicky thing. Just because since you have this background here, it's kind of hard to make them like with the ground plane and have this floaty background. But whatever. That's no here nor there. Excuse me.
Okay, let's see. I do like how the way uh, you put the problem, the goal, and your role, your project, and your tool used, and the stakeholder, and everything like that. So I think that's good. And so if you scroll up, okay, you got the insights, your feature. Okay, I do like the animation.
Hmm.
What you have there. It's very subtle. Feature two. Okay, you can go a little bit faster. Okay, yeah, I like how you did that. The feature three. What 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 I think. Okay, can you scroll back up, Adam? Up. Okay, okay. So you have feature one, feature two, and then I think you have what, feature three too, as well. I think so far what I'm seeing is like if you take the main meat, like all the features, and make that a section, right? Because right now it looks like everything is just running together.
Mm-hmm.
There's no like, oh god, what's the word, like cutoff point, right? It's okay. Please don't take it wrong. It's like when you take a roll of toilet paper and basically it falls out of your hands and it just rolls, right? It
Hmm.
just it just kind of goes away from you. It's like, oh, there it goes. It's kind of like that. It just goes and goes and goes. There's no definition. Like I start here and I stop, and then the next section, then I look, and then I stop. If that makes sense.
Yes, no, that makes sense. It just kind of you just kind of want to scroll, continuously scroll through.
Yeah, yeah, and and also too, and when I scroll, I'm not reading. I'm not reading this wonderful app, that you did. I don't know, Adam, do you get that same feeling or?
I would think the issue is that you have this feature one as a header treatment, and then so when you make feature two, then it's like another section. Feature threes, it's so you keep introducing sections and you have it the same as the process. I would instead make feature one just features, and then make these all in sub, as subheaders, and then that way, and then maybe find a way to like connect all these four into one box or one colored background or
Mm-hmm.
something, just so you can
Yeah,
kind of make sure that they're all grouped together.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That way, when you get to
exactly.
the process, then you know it's the next section, right?
Yeah, because and this is like really beautiful work. You just have to show it off a little bit more.
Yeah. By the way, these layouts are really great. Like just even adding these little curly Q arrows and these little call outs. Those are awesome. Maybe not this one as much, but like the way you did it here and here, those are great. If you could find a similar way to do that there, the have how you have the little box with the animation, that's awesome. Like just these little, just the presentation is super nice. So I definitely like that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, keep scrolling.
I
Keep
like this.
scrolling. Yeah.
The happy
Okay,
sad.
heavy sad. Okay, keep scrolling. Yeah, same thing here regarding the retrospect and then everything else. As we were saying earlier, just make it a different section and stuff like that. But where is, if you go up a little bit,
Hmm.
am I missing like your final screens?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I don't. Okay, I don't. If you scroll up, sorry, I don't
Yeah.
want to. Those are the only screens that I see. For me, I would like to see um, a little bit more. Maybe down on the bottom, maybe you can add two or three screens that really takes up, the good portion of your website. Design it somehow or style it, or maybe you can have like a running GIF, some kind of like interaction, something like you click here and this comes in, this clicks. Oh, okay, so that's how it works. Just to give me a little bit more meat of what the app really does.
Yeah, like the way I see the way I see it is, even when we're talking with Amy last week, sorry, excuse me, my throat, is that each project that you're displaying here is a product page, right? You're selling yourself through your products, and these are all your products. And so the more you can showcase the look and feel of the app, in very, like when you have it right here, right? Here you're kind of showing, oh, here's a feature, right? Just like when you're showcasing, I don't know, like a stereo. Oh, this button does this. Now added value. This is a bass boost or whatever. You're throwing in the little features that make it, there are like the wow factors for the project. And so you got to keep going with it, and so you got to end also with like a sort of last product page, if you will, like a last product kind of design. So you kind of sandwich it within the two. Although I do like that it ends with the retrospective and that it ends with the to hear more contact me, but maybe just end in like at the very end, throw in just like one final screenshot just so they can remember what it was. Because it's all the way back over here, like here, this looks great. And then you'll forget what it looks like. So um, just so you can have them remember at the very end.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go to the next case study. House,
Again,
house, home.
yeah. These
I'm
are
sorry.
these are pretty nice how you have these set up. Just like a little every one of them is distinct and different, and so I love that you're pulling in a different kind of a different kind of style guide for each. So that's great. I do love those.
The only thing that I would switch out is the phone because it
Yeah.
looks like it's an 8 phone. So you want to maybe update that.
hmm
Okay, so keep going.
Again, these shadows are like all over the place.
Okay, so introduction, you got the goal, you got the role, got the tool used. Okay, so go down, Adam, a little bit more. Okay, that's
Nice.
nice. I really like how you found that out.
hmm
And then, Catherine, wait, stop. Did you draw all of those illustrations?
I did that one of the house and the girl looking at the house. That was all done through Sketch.
Awesome.
Okay, that talent needs to be throughout your website.
Okay.
hmm
Okay.
As splash pages, as the background, you need to incorporate that a lot. I think again, that's my own personal opinion, but those are really really nice. You gotta show your skill set more. I think you're hiding all these like all these little nuggets, and when we keep on talking, it's like I'm going on a huge Easter egg hunt, right? I'm like, oh, you can do illustration. Oh, you can do this. It's like, how come I'm not seeing this on here? I, th-
Yeah.
I think you're like hiding like stuff from me. I feel.
I
Yeah, no,
apologize. Yeah.
I also agree because in the logo section you talk about how you built upon each iteration to get to this kind of logo, but the illustration I think is much stronger, much more appealing, and
Yeah,
so
it
maybe
is.
having a little thing about the pieces constructing or something, or just like a showcase in itself about talking about the language that was used in order to come up with the illustration and how it relates to the overall theme. Throwing that in its own section as well here would do, which I guess maybe under visual direction or well, see, and then you talk about the icons also, but you don't talk about the illustration, and that's a pretty good skill to
That's
introduce.
huge.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's total huge
yeah,
because because again, as Adam said earlier, if you have two people going for an interview, one person can design, you can design, but you design and then you lead teams and illustrate, and this person can only design and maybe can write, right? So what are they going to need on their team? Just say they need somebody who can do illustration. Well, again, who who are they going to pick? Well, they're going to pick you because you can do illustration. So, okay, so let's go down. We got the mood boards. Keep going. You got custom
yeah,
icons and
yeah.
brandings.
I was just gonna say, yeah, like if you're thinking about somebody that's trying to build their own UX team, right? They're gonna want to try to fill in as many gaps as they can, and if they can see that you have more than just one skill to bring to the table, like everybody that's in UX can do UI, can do the research part of it, but then not as many can come up with a cohesive icon set, without just using one that's available. And so if they had to build upon additional icons that aren't available to them, you know, just to know that there's somebody that has those skills, it's gonna be more valuable, right? And knowing somebody that can make a custom illustration for any sort of scenario, or that can follow a style guide, that can make one pretty quick, that's also going to be valuable as well. So, just throwing that out there.
Own it more is what he's
Okay.
saying.
Okay.
Okay, so responsive design. I think these can be a little bigger. Your tablet layout, and your desktop layout. Just a little bit bigger, but not too much, so we can actually see. I mean, I know they're only gray boxes and stuff, but that's still just as important as your other images too.
Hmm.
Okay, keep going. Okay, this is nice. I like how you did, well, this is what it looks like here. Throughout, again, we're getting that reminder that wasn't on the rally side.
Mm-hmm.
Just a
Okay.
just a nitpick. I would um so I would pick a style that's the same for even just your for your devices. Like you've been using white here, so I'll just continue to use that. Just so it stays with the same visual language as the rest of them. Make this iPad more proportionate. Fix these shadows a little bit so that this one is like on a surface. This one is floating. Anywhere. And so either remove the shadows or kind of make it consistent where they have, for this case, I could bring this iPad up, scale it higher, and then you could put a floor shadow for both of them or something. These are um, just nitpicky things at that point. Retrospective, great.
Yeah, yeah, retrospective. That's fine. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, see,
Um, yeah,
yeah.
those are nice. Yeah.
See, you have your end call out. Feel free to share your thoughts. Where does that link to? Yep, perfect. And then yeah, just your final screen that shows, it doesn't have to be much. You don't have to show every screen, like just how you did it right here. A nice simple layout, that shows just the final splash of your app. I don't know if you've been using the gradient. Well, I would say it should match a little bit with what you were doing previously. I mean,
Yeah.
it does match within the app, but I don't know the background. I don't think you use this background anywhere, or I don't know if this is part of the same color language that you have. But still looks nice. I do like this. Show somebody using the actual device. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So
All
let's go to the next project.
right.
Okay. So this is your UX writing challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So if you can go back up, because okay, so you said in April, started in 15 UX Day challenge, the website, the copy, body, buttons, day, characters. Okay, fun activity, push me to evaluate the how better places. The XI challenge turned out to be an exercise to try me different UI. I hope you enjoy. Okay, go down. Day one, day two. Okay, so basically, what I'm understanding when I read that they give you a challenge and you design the screen and the copy.
The challenge was directed at only designing or only writing out the UX copy, but then I wanted to take it one step further in terms of what kind of images I would have with that scenario they presented as a way to just, I mean, I'm already given the challenge by them. It's a daily challenge, so I thought having matching visuals would go well.
Okay, okay. Uh, Adam,
Mm-hmm.
can you scroll up again? Uh, okay, so right here, you just told me how to better phrase messages. That you just did the header, body, and buttons.
Hmm.
Doesn't really, I mean, it, it tells me that basically you did writing challenge, but what did you actually do? Um, yeah, because it doesn't really. I think if you explain it a little bit more
Hmm.
on the top of like, okay, this was the writing challenge I did. Um, Kind of like how you did in your other use cases on the top of like the role, the thing, that. I think that might
Okay.
help. I don't know, Adam,
Yeah.
what do you think?
Yeah, I would need more, just some more insight into your thought process. When i'm
Yeah.
when i'm seeing these scenarios, right here, you're talking about somebody's flight that gets canceled at an airport, and give them the flow about what to do. So having the thought of view available flights, that's great, right? So you have like a you're have a flow of what they can do and where. And then here you're talking about, like a sports person, you want them to to continue with this like season subscription or something. um, but when you go to the airport, it'd be great to know, like, what was your thought process and your choice of words you you picked. Yeah, if you think about that scenario, right? Somebody who just had their flight canceled, they're feeling very worried, or they need to know what's going on. They're quick to find out what their next steps are. So, and also to tell them something, that something is canceled, there you're gonna want to address it in a very calm and sincere way, to not to like, hey, guess what, your flight has been canceled, here's what you can do, don't worry about, like, you gotta so just explaining why, the tone of voice that you chose, why you decided to go with the specific phrasing that you used, things like that. um you know like, what's the use case, how is the person feeling in this scenario versus the football scenario, right? In the football scenario, it's like casual, right? He just wants to find his next, his score, and his, how can I keep this sports fan engaged, right? So things like that, I would love to know more about, like why you chose the words you did, what was the thought process, why you chose the CTAs that you did. Is there a marketing kind of terminology in mind, or is it, or did you just say something that was cool and fun, like, so I would love to know the process that way. Another issue too is just that I wouldn't know that it was just the language unless you, well, I kind of know here, but because you're addressing them into these very distinct, kind of design layouts, which is great. But it kind of takes away from the focus, which is the actual writing of it. So maybe if there's like a call out, to the side where you're enlarging, just like, you're enlarging just a phrase of it or something, just so I can get a sense. It doesn't have to be every single one, but maybe just the body copy in this section, if you call that out, just so people can see it bigger and read it and understand why you're choosing the words that you chose.
Yeah. And then also too, just kind of looking at everything. It's like they are so in the same tone. It kind of reminds me of like A/B testing. Like, do I like this one or that one better?
Hmm.
Right. So maybe you can actually have their own space. Have one, have an exclamation, and when I scroll down, there'll be day two and then day three instead of putting it together.
Hmm.
I don't know. Do you get that same feeling, or maybe it's just me?
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's great to see that there's a lot of them, but then, like, again, it's hard to figure out what I'm looking at, right? Because it says the user entered the wrong email address to sign in. Tell their user to enter the right email. So then I'm like, okay, what part of that is gives me that message? I guess it's this little email not found, please try again. So I'm like, okay, well, I need more than that, right? So maybe what I would do is, yeah, what Terry was said, which is like call out certain days that are more effective than others, right? So and make that be a showcase. So like have day one be enlarged, and then you could have like day two, three, four, or whatever. You don't have to call out every single one of these because a lot of them, right? Like this feels like almost like if it should have been just like in your Instagram as like a daily UI challenge or something, but since you have so many, it's just a lot to kind of like weed through. So I would minimize a few of them and call out others.
Yeah, I would call out like five. Five is a good number.
Yeah. Please go to
Trying to
Facebook,
think.
log in, create. Okay. Yep. That's cool. Also, just insights, I guess, as well. And where's your next CTA, right? So uh, link to your. So like if you're talking about a user flow, you want your user to keep getting engaged, and now you stop them, right? So they don't know where to go next. So it's like, oh, that's the end of it. Whereas if you just link to your about page next or your contact page, then you have them flowing to the endpoint, which is this page. The most important page is this section.
Yeah. And then also too, I had a thought and then I forgot. But you were on the UX challenge. Okay, scroll down.
Oh, it's down here. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Sorry. It was Adam. Um, CTA means call to action, just in case somebody doesn't know of what CTA is.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, because maybe we might have a new listener. Who knows? But yeah. Okay. So once you go back to her to Catherine's front page, let's see the contact page. How do we get to the contact page? If I just want to like contact her right away, how can I find her?
You got to go to about, and then you scroll down.
Okay, so if I were you, I would just put contact in the navigation because boom, it's right there. You don't want to make them have to hunt to find you.
Hmm. I would, since you have this kind of long scroll already kind of going already, I would just kind of throw that at the bottom anyways, right? Because um, people are scrolling down anyways. They're getting down to they're going down, they're going down. It doesn't hurt just to add another section that has your contact there. And then since here, this is your about section. So it's talking about you, and then you scroll down. Oh, and how to get in contact with you there. So everywhere you're hitting them, right? So bam, bam, bam. And you also have this little icon here too, I guess.
Yeah, and then I thought I saw your resume someplace in there. I wasn't
Yep, it's down there.
okay. Again, this is my 2 cents. Adam, so do you like to have somebody's resume up here on top, or or do they have to try and find it?
That's not as important to me, to be honest, because I would think that most people would have found this page from your resume. Um, but like I said, I think the problem with this is that um, it ends. There's no everything is hidden below your story, and so if you're to condense it so where you can fit your resume and you can fit the rest of it, then that'd be fine. So yeah, maybe you could throw that up here uh, in the start or something. But yeah, I mean, it's not the ideal placement, but it just depends on if people want to see it or not.
Okay. You want to open it up so we can take a quick look.
Mhm.
Okay, so scroll down. Yeah, I think it looks very clean. I'm able to read it. It's one page. Um, I oh my God, I love your problem solving, multilingual, and then um, that word. If you
Empathetic.
can put that, yeah, empathetic, that in your you could scroll up, yeah, someplace up there too.
Yeah, where's that here?
You want to, yeah, I don't see any of that. That's a great tagline to put underneath of your header or just or something just to dial that in.
Yeah, I don't know you're. I didn't know you're multilingual. Oh, what? Brazilian, Spanish, and Mandarin. Where's that? Where's that here? Where's that? Where's that here? It'd be great to learn.
It's the Easter eggs that I'm hiding.
Yeah.
Yes, again, Easter eggs. And it's not even April yet.
Yeah, I mean, like programs, it's nice to know, right? But everybody kind of has everybody can kind of knows all these design. Yep, that's nice to have as well, right? But then like I said, most of the stuff everybody would kind of have on their resume, right? That's like the baseline. But not too many people have this, right? Or um, have workshop facilitator, have you know um, whatever you're doing with with motherhood.design with the bstem project. So fill that out with the rest here about
Hmm.
all the other things that you do. That's great, that'll make you stand out from what the other people are doing. Like, yeah, everybody has this, but can they do this, right? Do they have this on
I
their Do they have years of experience doing this, you know
well, I definitely know I cannot speak Mandarin Chinese nor Spanish, and the other one is Brazilian. Absolutely not. So I know I can't speak any of those languages. I have a hard time just talking English.
they're like, by the way, we're expanding down to our South American market, and we're looking for a designer. Oh, wait a minute, what? Somebody has Hispanic literature and cultures on their resume? Oh, I think she'll be very valuable to our team. She has all the rest of the skills, and she has the language skills that we're looking for. Boom.
Exactly. Okay, so let's go back to Catherine's. Okay, regarding I know you have your contact page here, and you have a little graphic illustration. If you're going to do some illustration, I would love to see it throughout the website, not just like a big like circle there. Just like different areas and stuff.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I'm just trying to tie everything together.
Like down there, right?
Hmm. Yeah. So anything else, Adam?
A few things. Just to nitpick, you have your social media links, but when you go to them, oh well, this account doesn't exist. Oh, okay. Well, I don't. Oh, what about the? Oh, why this isn't available? What are these things? So you have all these social media links, but they don't go anywhere. So it's like, why have them?
Yeah, I updated my username and I forgot to do my due diligence.
I mean, it's up to you depending on how much you want to share about your presence online. If you have a lot of design work on there, then great, right? If it's just pictures of you, maybe you don't need to show that. Same thing with Twitter. If it's just you saying quirky things, then maybe hold off on that. But if it's you like engaging in the design community and like showing work and interesting links and shows that you're in the community and you're trying to get involved, and sure, show all these things. The rest is like, I don't need to.
Yeah.
Let's see. I would say too. I mean, uh, this is a nice to have, but when I first look at this site, I would say it's very basic, right? It gets the job done. And so if you're looking to move up, right, I would think about connecting with a visual designer, a web designer, somebody that you can collaborate, maybe like high, because there's a lot of ways you can engage this kind of homepage to look more just to look more just impactful, right? I feel like nowadays sites, people's portfolio sites are starting to look like agency sites, design agency sites. And I'm not saying you need to get to that level, but but maybe look to it in the future of like, hey, what can I do to really throw in just a higher impactful template that'll get me going, because we're not developers ourselves. So we technically, I mean, I don't know your background, but I know for me, I'm not a developer myself, so everything I can do, I'm only limited by what I can do. But partnering or hiring somebody, just to get your stuff up, maybe that could be something to look into in the future. But yeah, I mean, overall, like I said, the work looks awesome. Like I said, I love these. These things are pretty cool. Let's see how does this thing scale? Is this, let's see.
Responsive.
Yeah, let's see how, oh yeah, nice. Looks great. Yep, yep, yep. I mean, uh, it looks great. I would like to see just a little bit more, right? Maybe like another project in there. I would reconsider the UX writing challenge. Maybe that'll be, I would say add more to it, or maybe replace it with another project. I would love to see more screenshots of the stuff you've done for the hack for LA,
Hmm.
and yeah, just, how many
Just
projects do you
more.
have? I don't know. Yeah, just like,
Mhm.
it's like a little bit more. Yeah,
And you
flesh this out a little bit more as well.
Okay.
mentioned, yeah. And you mentioned you're working for Taco Bell now. I don't know if you signed of an NDA of what stuff you could put on here. If you can, great. If not, then don't worry about it.
Hmm. Yeah, so you don't have that here. Um, but you know what you can present the work that you've been doing for Taco Bell in person, right? There are things that you can show for for the portfolio, for the interview, that if you let them know, hey, by the way, this is stuff that I'm working on, um, but I can't show, that's totally acceptable. So you can have a package ready to show, whether if that's a PowerPoint presentation or something of just other work that you may not be able to show due to NDAs, right? Like you can show it. Well, um, maybe that could be a situation where you can present that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. But definitely update your resume saying you're at Taco Bell, so they have some like, oh, okay. So just make sure everything is up to date, as much as possible too. I know you're busy and everything like that, but your portfolio is like clean clothes. It needs to be clean all the time.
Tell me about it. I have to get on that too.
I think we all do. We all do. But
I know.
but but overall, Catherine, how is the feedback? Number one, number two, is there any other feedback from us that we did not give?
No, I really appreciate the feedback. I thought it was just really helpful to have both of both of you speak and kind of go off on each other, so that's helpful in terms of like, okay, there are different opinions, and how do I, you know, pick from both? And I liked what Adam was saying in terms of pointing out the things that he did like. So for my next iteration, I'll know what elements to keep, which
Mm.
is helpful because I have gotten a lot of great positive feedback on just how the case studies are laid out with, you know, the picture on the left and then the
Mm-hmm.
description on the right. So I do want to keep that. Um, and in terms of just updating the rest, you know, there's like the basic things like the resume, but what was helpful for me was knowing what to showcase, because I do downplay a lot of the skills because to me they're not, I guess, that relevant. Like the customer
Oh
service.
my, oh my God,
Yeah.
women, bite your tongue. You're nuts.
No,
Oh,
I see that. I do see that point, right? So like, well, am I gonna need my my facilitating skills? And it's like, yeah, you know, you may or may not need it, but like I said, that just adds value, right? So.
yeah, that's our value to you because I mean, think if you're if if I'm running a team and basically my boss comes up to me is like, I need somebody to present by tomorrow something. You're like, oh crap, because that happens. That does happen, and you have a team that maybe nobody spoke or they're just death of speaking. Like, oh my God, I have Catherine. Catherine, I know this is last minute, but it it's like of a 20-minute thing. You know, would you be able to do it? You're all, yeah, sure. Like, oh my God, thank God. You know, because that stuff happens. You know, in
And
work life.
yeah, I think also too, even just in your team meetings or meetings, your project team meetings, just being able to articulate your choices, right? They're like, ah, you know, I don't know about this color. Like, why is this even, you know, the green looks too harsh, right? Like, well, you know, if you look through the other, all these other iterations in our style guide, you know, we've have used this as a background choice in the past, you know, like, you know, just being able to justify your reasons to, you know, other people that aren't designers, being able to speak articulately about it, being able to speak with confidence, like just that'll help you stand out as well. So having those skills, you know, being able to um, I don't know, just being able to use all these additional skills could just help out. Like, right, like you never know when you're gonna need it. Like I know for me, the project I'm in, I'm doing all these additional illustration work that I didn't really showcase as much in my portfolio as well. But because of that, I'm like being able to just do all these other extra things, and that's like not um, that's like not what my main role was, or you know, I don't showcase. I talk a little bit that I do illustration, but because I do, that's what kind of helped me do more illustration stuff in general. I don't know. Just I can't articulate what I'm saying, which is I guess counterintuitive to what I was talking about earlier. But because I put that out that a little bit that I did illustration, that helped me get all these additional illustration projects, which I thought was fun because that's what I want to be doing more right now, and so that helped out. Okay, Terry, are you available?
Oh, yes, I was on mute. Sorry, my bad. Catherine,
Yes.
before we move on to the other three questions we have, is there anything else regarding your portfolio or your resume?
Um, let's see. My resume, I think, is pretty straightforward, and
Hmm.
I'm okay with how it looks for the most part. It's just, you know, outdated, but no, I mean, I've gotten a lot of good feedback just in terms of
Hmm.
uh, making things, you know, slowing down the content a bit, like for Rally, so people don't just scroll through like the four features that obviously I worked really hard on presenting, and even putting the research into figuring out what those four features should be. So I definitely want to explore what are some different ways to visually lay it out so people pay attention to what I want them to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
Mm-hmm.
you could even have a paragraph in there, right? So features paragraph. Why, you know, I spent time I spent a lot of time working on these main feature, talk about that part and then get into the actual features itself,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. Thank you. No, it's a lot for me to work on.
Okay, great. So if you don't mind, since you've been through the cycle of coming from a different background from UX UI, so number one, so what made you do a boot camp, and did you research other boot camps?
Yes, so I did the course with Career Foundry because I was looking just at a whole array of different possibilities between remote online and also in person. And at that point, I didn't think in person would have been the best move for me, because I did want something that was a little longer in time frame, because I think the in person ones they're rather short just because of just how many hours you cram into the day. So I really enjoyed uh, my decision. And there's so many nowadays. So when people reach out to me, which they do in terms of getting on the phone or meeting in person for coffee, I tell them, there's no wrong choice you can make. People who are responsible for these courses and these programs, regardless of if it's remote or in person or however much the cost is, I think they're all relatively good. And, they all have one objective, which is to get people hired and, help them successfully switch into UX design. So I never push one over the other. And, I know people who work for all of the, basically for a lot of the main name brands courses out there. And I mean, they're all hardworking and professional and super smart. So I don't think you can make a wrong decision.
Awesome, awesome. So as we mentioned before, so now you have 2 years uh, underneath your belt. So, can you see the difference of where you saw yourself at the beginning until now? Can you describe that transformation?
Yeah, so I think in terms of these boot camps, you're working in a silo, obviously, because there's no classroom or group projects, which I think makes sense because you want to develop your own skill independently from others, and just seeing at what point of the UX UI process you lean more strongly into, or you're not that passionate about. So working alone through this whole process is helpful for that. But now that I am working with other people, it's helpful to see, um, just for the process, what is realistic in in terms of which steps are actually materialized and practiced for UX UI design, and how that whole process fits into business goals, into the whole department, and how that fits into the rest of the company. So, um, the boot camp was almost in an ideal world. This is how UX UI design looks like, but in the real world, it's a lot messier. There's a lot more factors, and you can't exactly apply everything you've learned, which is a pity. But I think it's also helpful in terms of teaching me how to push for the things that I want, and also knowing what I like about the UX UI process, especially if there's no time for a certain step. I miss it, so it's helpful for me to just realize what kind of designer I am.
Oh, awesome. Okay, one last question. Do you have any advice to new career changers or people who thinking they might want to get into the world of UX and UI?
Yeah, so I've had my fair share of fresh starts, and just trying new things and checking them off the list. So, my advice to people who are even slightly interested, but don't really know what exactly it is, I would say just, jump into it, do your research, um, you know, watch as many videos as you can, and then start your knowledge off that way. And there's really, it's very low risk because there's so much knowledge out there that self-studying and looking into it yourself is very feasible. And I would even say, talk to people once you are interested and you kind of have a basic grasp of vocabulary. But to start off with like the self research first. So by the time you do get someone on the phone, you know which questions to ask and um, I guess how that kind of how UX would fit into your own life.
Cool. So, before we end, any other questions for us, Catherine?
No questions. I'm excited to turn my portfolio around and show you guys what it looks like after the facelift.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Adam, any more comments?
Nope, that's it for me.
Okay, well, Catherine, we always start out at the end. So, Adam, where can we find you at?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Adan Cepeda. That's AdanZepeda. And you can find me on Instagram at adanz.designs with the S at the end. What about you, Terry?
Okay, yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Flaxen Ink, and you can find me on Insta. It's flaxenink.designs. And then you can find me on TikTok, and that's at Flaxen Ink. So, Catherine, where can they find you at? Shameless plug.
Yes. Shamelessly, I am at Design Clue. That's Design KLU on Instagram and Twitter.
Awesome.
Nice. So, Catherine, thank you so much for letting us see your portfolio. I know this is very hard to take criticism and let everybody else actually see your work and being kind of exposed. But that's why Adam and I we decided to do this in the coming 2020 to help other newcomers, and maybe they can learn and see, so what am I doing wrong, or stuff like that. So thank you so much for willing to share your whole experience with everybody out there.
No, thank you for having me. I love feedback. I love criticism. A old coworker of mine used to say feedback is love, so I appreciate all the love
Oh,
that you guys have given me today.
that's awesome.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Okay, so we're gonna end it here. Adam, is that it? I think that's it.
Yeah. See you all next week.
Okay, aloha.
Bye.
Bye.